Nairobi.
All right, Leto, thanks so much for that. At the same time, Finance and Planning Committee Chair Kuria Kimani has defended proposals of the committee to amend the Finance Bill 2024, saying that they were the product of listening to the people during the public participation. Now, the members of the committee appear to have been persuaded to agree with Kenyans in what they may well be that they had no other choice, as they were barely no supporting voices in most of the controversial clauses. We get more from our very own Sam Gituku.
During the Kenya Kwanza Parliamentary Group meeting at State House Tuesday, the MPs presented resolutions to drop some of the contentious clauses as being the decisions of the group and the Kenya Kwanza administration. But the Finance and Planning Committee report lays bare what could have transpired. First, on the proposal to impose a 16% VAT on bread, there was barely any backing during the public participation hearings, even though the National Treasury had argued that tax expenditure in the form of VAT refunds had been high for so long and thus reducing government's revenue. That didn't convince anyone, leaving the committee no chance but to side with the people that bread is a basic commodity. To the controversial motor vehicle tax, even though the committee holds that capping the tax at 100,000 shillings would have been discriminatory in favor of owners of vehicles valued at more than 4 million shillings, a majority of members of the public called it out for being misplaced. The committee having to agree with the people that in the first place, a motor vehicle is an asset and can in no way be taxed under the income tax law. The committee is saying that imposing the tax would adversely affect the uptake of vehicle insurance in the country.
Section 3(2) of the Income Tax Act defines what constitutes an income upon which a tax is chargeable under the Act, whereas the proposed motor tax is levied on an asset and not on income as described by the Income Tax Act. The proposal, Honourable Speaker, to cap the levy at 100,000 shillings makes this tax discriminatory and non-progressive.
But there is no mention if the tax can be brought back under a different law. And in a surprise move, the committee has proposed to introduce a new clause seeking to raise the road maintenance levy, commonly known as fuel levy, charged on every litre of petrol and diesel, currently at 18 shillings a litre. This follows a spirited campaign staged last week by Roads and Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen in Parliament, seeking to raise the levy by 7 shillings. On Tuesday night, Chairman Kuria Kimani denied such a position.
The RMLF comes through a regulation. It's not through, so you cannot amend that through an act of parliament. So you will not hear me next week proposing an amendment to the finance bill to increase RMLF to this, from this to the other. Come to the
so there's no position taken by the Finance and Planning Committee on what should happen to RMLF?
So far, there's no position taken on RMLF.
All right.
And to the eco-levy, the committee agreed to remove that new tax on locally manufactured goods following complaints by local manufacturers. The report proposes to further exempt select goods from the levy to contain prices of critical goods like diapers, tires of motorcycles, bicycles, wheelchairs and tuk-tuk vehicles, while proposing to reduce the rate of eco-levy for certain finished goods.
Order, Owen Bayer.
For all this to take effect, though, the committee must move amendments come next week Tuesday, when the entire House will be required to vote on each of the clauses. Sam Gituku, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Now, moving right along, and key stakeholders in the country's financial sector